realization of it, then maybe we'll get somewhere. And hopefully that's what Donald Trump was doing on his overseas trip. But boy, folks, when you have just babies in the street, families broken, and all this going on, it's simply the anger that builds up in me. I have no connections to anyone whatsoever in Manchester. I have friends that live in the United Kingdom. Thank God they're all safe. And, you hear them on the show every now and then. Jack Buckby, Andre Walker, two good friends. But when you see young people and children being mowed down for someone else's agenda, my God, did my blood boil. And, the words are coming very hard. Again, I don't want to talk politics right now about this. I want to give people their time to mourn. Obviously, you've tuned into a political show, and I understand it, and I get it, and this is what I do. Sometimes it's a lot more painful to do this than it is other times. Sometimes I relish in talking politics and getting into the nuances of it all. But when we're talking about an explosion in the foyer area of Manchester Arena that killed children, and we're doing it so close to the act itself, it's heavy stuff, folks. I mean, we can analyze, like I did earlier, the government's response, the current situation, how the police are investigating, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, what we're left with is yet another example of radical Islamic terrorism disrupting and destroying lives around the world. If we don't deal with this, all of us, of every faith, of every political persuasion, we're going to be praying for a lot more cities and places to come. Time for a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about something going on in the People's Republic of New York City. Why is a parade being so controversial that sponsors like Coke, Corona, AT&T, and many others are dropping out? Could it be that there's a lack of self-awareness on the left once again in the People's Republic of New York City? We'll talk about it after these brief words. Gene Baradelli behind enemy lines. See you after the break. If you're a long-time listener of the show, or maybe this is your first time listening, you can probably tell that me and the gang here, we like to have our share of fun, whether it's on or off the air. We talk about 2-drink minimum radio and no medication Wednesdays or whatever day it may be. That's why when we found the people at Less Government, More Fun, we knew it was a match made in heaven with this show. Folks, we live in a time where government is out of hand. Our founding fathers did not intend government to be all-consuming in all parts of our lives. That's why we are telling you to go to lessgovmorefun.com, check out the website, check out the swag. What the people want is less government, more fun. Pass it on, make it happen.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save.
Your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Behind Enemy Lines Radio is all about being right. No, seriously, it is. If you ever listen to Russ Gallo or me go back and forth on some issue, we always want to make sure that we remember who said what and when we said it. That's why we go to goonrecord.com. It's a brand new social media website. Challenge people on what they believe, whether it's in politics, sports, entertainment, finance, whatever. There's a category for you at goonrecord.com. Check it out right now. Tell us, what do you stand for? It's time for you to go on record. Behind Enemy Lines. Back on the air. Gene Baradelli, back behind enemy lines. Folks, we're going to bring things to the People's Republic of New York City now. Take it off a national focus, put it onto more of a local focus, my neck of the woods. Sorry to our listeners in Florida and Georgia who listen on our rebroadcast outlets, but you know what? We got to talk about some Yankees here now. So here's the deal. And the words disgrace, outrage definitely come to mind here as well. We just got off a heavy topic of talking about what happened in Manchester. And now we're talking about disgrace and outrage because New York and the organizers of the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Folks, listen, if you've been to the People's Republic of New York City, you know that we have all walks of life here, all races, ethnicities, political persuasions, religious persuasions, sexual orientation, and we celebrate it all as much as we can. It seems like there's always a parade around here. But in this case, we're talking about the National Puerto Rican Day Parade that has chosen to honor an unrepentant terrorist. You heard me right. The city that suffered the worst terrorist attack in the history of the world has chosen to honor a terrorist in a parade as a hero of freedom. I'm talking about Oscar Lopez Rivera, who was recently pardoned by President Obama. If you don't know who he is, it's okay. You have to go back into history to understand who he was. He is, and is celebrated for being, the founder and the organizer of the Armed Forces of National Liberation, commonly known as FALN, for fighting for Puerto Rican independence many years ago. What did this man do, by the way? FALN orchestrated over 120 bombings. One of them killing 4 people in New York. The man was convicted of this, sent to prison for 35 years, had a life sentence, and was commuted by President Obama. Now this guy Lopez was offered clemency by Bill Clinton back in 1999, but it was conditional upon him renouncing the use of violence that he did. He refused to do so, and President Obama just gave him a clean, unconditional, commuting of his sentence, unconditional clemency, and of course he took it. He's out recently, and in a show of shocking lack of self-awareness, the organizers of the National Puerto Rican Day Parade in New York City, the site of the largest terrorist attack, has chosen to honor a perpetrator of terror who has killed people in the name of terrorism to be known as their first ever national freedom hero. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And people like Melissa Mark Viverito, who's the speaker of the New York City Council, that commie pinko. I like to use stronger words about her, but I can't because we're FCC regulated. You know what words I want to use. You can fill them in yourself. Has gone around saying that, this man, Lopez, he was not really a part of this organization. Let me give you a little background on this organization. From the mid-70s to mid-80s, for about 10 years or so, FALN waged a war against the United States, attacking civilians, mainly in New York and Chicago. In 1975, they launched an infamous lunchtime bombing at Francis Tavern. Now, if you know Francis Tavern, it's a historic site. It's a revolutionary site. It's from colonial days. There was a bombing there that murdered 4 innocent people. And an FALN communique took credit for the attack, calling it a blow against reactionary corporate executives. Does this sound a little familiar, folks, by the way? An attack against corporate executives? Who are we attacking now recently? Who are Antifa and college students and progressives? Who are they going after now? Going after the 1%? Going after corporations? But I digress. In the early 80s, 11 FLN members were arrested, tried, and convicted. Lopez was one of them. He was convicted and sentenced for crimes including seditious conspiracy interference with interstate commerce by threats of violence, otherwise known as terrorism, carrying firearms during the commission of those crimes, and interstate transportation of stolen vehicles. Federal crimes, folks. There was testimony that Lopez was personally involved in bombing and incendiary attacks, trained members in bomb-making techniques, and had been a prime recruiter for the FALN. We're not talking about a minor bit player. We're not talking about the getaway driver. We're not talking about, any propagandist. We're talking about a guy who is actively and intimately involved in terror attacks in New York and Chicago. And now one of those cities, the People's Republic of New York City, has decided to throw a parade in his honor. Come on now. Luckily and thankfully, many people, many organizations are getting with the message that this is absolutely and wholly unacceptable. And we're not talking about small players here, small bit players. We're talking about large corporations like AT&T, like Coca-Cola, like Corona. We're talking about police unions, fire unions. We're talking about Goya, an ethnic-based food brand. All joining together. We're talking about the New York Yankees. All joining together to say, while we support and celebrate Puerto Rican culture, and God bless, my nephew is half Puerto Rican, so of course I support him getting to know his culture, and I support pride in who you are. But although we can all agree that this is what we can support, cultural contributions, political contributions, not money, but you know what I mean, contribution to politics, contribution to history, we can all appreciate and celebrate that, but what we can't celebrate is the act of a convicted terrorist. We don't celebrate that in a parade, that's saying that this is part of your culture. Come on, folks. The lack of self-awareness here is absolutely shocking. Thank goodness the money's being pulled out of this doomed venture. But you know who's sticking with it, folks? People like Melissa Mark Viverito and her ilk. People like the City University of New York, who invite, all kinds of leftist progressive radicals to their venues. We can talk about Linda Sansauer being invited to speak at CUNY's graduation. We're talking about the United Federation of Teachers, a huge union that lives off of public money. So, of course, they're going to go along with the politicians on this. We're talking about the usual suspects. I cannot believe that we have gone so far in divisive politics that it has become debatable whether or not a convicted terrorist should receive a hero award in the city where he committed the atrocities and the murder of citizens. I can't even believe I'm saying this. The same city where he committed these murders, where the organization that he helped build bombed and killed innocent people, the same city that was the victim of terror at the World Trade Center on 2 occasions, including on September 11th, that same city will now be honoring a terrorist, a convicted murderer, a convicted criminal who should still be in jail, but for a liberal progressive agenda that let him off scot-free without even denouncing the violence and the death and destruction that he caused. Folks, I'm absolutely speechless on this one. This makes me glad that I don't live in the People's Republic of New York City anymore. You know me if you listen to this show for a while. I was a diehard Brooklynite. The Brooklyn Cyclones are my team. I'm a New Yorker through and through, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Now living on Long Island in the suburbs. I am very happy that I left, knowing that this is going to be happening. This city has gone too far. Melissa Mark Viverito has failed this city, and the words are escaping me now. Again, I'm very angry on this show, as you can hear, when we're talking about topics like terror and celebrating